Hey y'all, in this episode of What's Happening with Carolina Chuck, we're going to talk to the furniture guy, Shawn Massey. He's going to talk about the furniture business, how he's second generation, and what the third generation is looking like. We're also going to talk about several other businesses that he has, such as North Country Hearth and Home on Washington Street right here in Watertown, his ice cream spot in Sackett's, and he's going to give us the rundown on maple syrup, talk about the Massie Ranch. So check us out on What's Happening with Carolina Chuck with guest Shawn Massey.
So, dude, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Well, thank you for inviting me out here. And, I've seen some of your social media content, and you asked me, I was excited to meet you and do this with you.
Yeah, wow, dude, this is pretty crazy. So let me tell you a little story. When I moved up here, I drove the U-Haul truck, and guess where that truck got parked?
I got to guess. It's probably at my store, my furniture store.
Yeah,
Yep.
Right there. So I saw the big Shawn Massey sign, and I was like, wow. And then I started hearing, commercials and stuff, and just as much as the Caprera's almost. So there's that,
Well, then they kind of, led me into that. We see a lot of local businesses advertising for themselves, the owners, like the Caprera's doing it, Charlie and Billy. And so when I was trying to decide for advertising, that's kind of how I got into it. I was like, well, I think I could do that. I wasn't good at it to start. I'm probably not good at it now. But that's kind of what got me into it was, your employer.
I literally dig your commercials, though. I like the style you do because, I don't know. I don't want to say it's corny. I don't want to say corny's the word, but the way you do it is kind of, it's deliberate and it's fun. You know what I mean? And it reminds me of how I would try to talk to girls. You know what I mean? It's like, this is it. This is all you got.
And that's kind of what we do. And it is somewhat corny. It's different. It stands out. And you got to stand out nowadays. You can't just have the same
corny in a bad way. I mean,
no, I totally get it. I totally understand. There is a sea of advertising, and you try to stand out and, try to push what you're good at. And one thing I'm good at is I'm at the store. I'm the owner. There's not a lot of owners at stores anymore. For a lot of businesses, they're either chains or they're non-present owners. Yeah. And so I said, I want to do something different. And I like to tell a story a little bit. Like if you've seen some of my advertising, you'll see how there's a story being told. Yep. And that story, I'm keep trying to figure out the next step to that story. And so, I got my son involved. And as I started myself, probably, 3 years ago or so, I started doing my own ads, maybe 4. Mm-hmm. And then, as my son got older, my son says he wants to be in the business eventually. And I said, well, I think the first step is you got to be confident a little bit. Yeah. And let's get you on camera. And, of course, he said, no, I can't do that. I can't do that, But I got him on there. And so now this story with my son and the furniture barn is just going to continue. And, the little chapters are going to open up as I'm teaching him the business.
Yeah, and I seen your son on there, and I seen the first couple he did. It's a growth thing. It's exciting. That's hopefully what comes from this, because I, be honest with you, don't really know what the heck I'm doing. I go home and edit this stuff myself.
Yeah,
and then every one I do ends up a little bit better.
And my son, you saw the growth of my son even more.
It was amazing.
Everybody said that. I mean, the first few, he was real deaf. He was.
And I think that's kind of what makes it captivating. You know what I mean? You get to watch something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It keeps it going.
So when I do lines, I try to rehearse my lines. With my son being younger, he doesn't have to rehearse as much as I do. Right. I keep telling him, get ready, Hudson. Get ready for these lines. He's like, I got it, Dad. I got it. Yeah. So it's funny how a younger generation can remember things better than me. And he's getting better than I am, I guess.
How did you get started in the furniture business? Is that the first business that you had?
It's the first business I had. So I'm second generation. My father started the business in 1964, selling used sofas out of a barn. That's how we came up with the furniture barn.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And so my father, over the years, got a little bigger, transitioned into appliances and new furniture, and just grew over the years. And so myself, I was born in 1970. So, my whole life trajectory was going to be the furniture business. I mean, it was a different time back then when your parents did something. I was only boy. I had 3 sisters all older than me, but I was going to be in the furniture business. Thank God it worked out. I love the furniture business. It's in my gene, it's in my blood now. So like we said with Hudson, he's the third generation.
Yeah.
And he says he wants to get into the business, but it's a little different time now. I have to let him do and decide. He says he wants to get into it, but you have to say, well, I hope you do. But if your trajectory takes you a different direction, I'll support you. It's a different time. I can't force him into it. I'm hoping that he does. I'd love to see a third generation of Massey,
cool.
Selling furniture.
And I mean, he would be probably good at it too.
Yeah, you can see that gift of the gab a little bit. You know what sales are. It's all talking, and it's all, you win over their trust, and then they'll buy from you. And I think he's got that. He's got that little,
Yeah, if you're established something for sure. I like the one he did where you were supposedly on the ranch or whatever.
Yes.
And he said we're gonna sell these while he's gone and stuff. I love that.
And I would like to do more of that. I've been in the furniture business now for 30 plus years, and I'd like to step back. I have other things that we'll probably talk about, some other businesses that I'd like to spend some more time on, and I would come in and help Hudson run the business. So my father did it for me.
Right.
He kind of went to Florida seasonally, but I would talk to him every single day. Any issues that came up, we would solve them together. And that's how I learned the business. And I'd like to do that with Hudson. And
that's really cool because I work for Frankie. He runs my store. And it's the same way. He'll talk to his dad, and his dad comes in, I usually see him probably once a week. Charlie will come through the store, and it's sort of the same thing. I like it.
That's a good way to learn. It really is. It worked for me anyways. They don't set you free and make too many mistakes. They'll let you make a few. I made a few mistakes, buying too much or selling stuff too inexpensive, not making enough profit. They let you make mistakes, but they're there to guide you. And they say, listen, let's learn from that. Let's change strategies. And it was a really special time. My father and I were really, really close.
Nice.
It was one of those things. And as a side note, I'll tell you a little story. So on top of my store, I have a bowl. Did you know they have a big bowl on top of my store?
Oh, big what?
Bowl, big concrete bowl. So on top of my store, you might have never noticed it. It's a big bowl steer with the big horns on it.
Oh, yeah.
Big Apple music, way up there on the top.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So there used to be a restaurant on Arsenal Street called Benny's Steakhouse.
Okay.
And that was the steer in front of the restaurant. It was a steakhouse. They had that as a advertisement in front of the store. My father and I go to lunch there every single day.
Yeah.
Every day when he was home from in town, we would go to lunch there. And so they finally sold out, and they were selling everything at auction. And the only thing I wanted that bowl because of just, because of the memories of my father. And so I wanted it at auction, and I had a crane come down and put it on top of my store.
That's awesome.
A lot of people wonder why I have it up there. I say, well, is it because of the furniture barn? I'm like, nah, it's more sentimental to me than that.
Wow. Neat. That's the cool thing.
And as a side note of that, guess who? So we're at an auction, right? A concrete bowl, bidding on it, right?
Yep.
I'm standing around the corner. I'm bidding, 1,000, 1,500. Somebody around the corner keeps bidding. Every time I went 1,500, somebody went 2,000. We got up to like $5,000, and I told my wife, "Megan, who is around the corner? Who am I bidding against over there? Who else would want this concrete bowl?" Billy Capera, because he used to have a ranch down in Chameau down there, and him and I are friends, and so then after. Finally, he let me have it. I outbid him. I go, Jesus, Billy, why do I got to bid against you? More, deep pockets. I'm just old Shawn, just trying to get a bowl and laugh. We had a good laugh over it.
That is cool as heck. Now, I'm going to say this. The first time I walked in, maybe the only time so far that I walked into your store, you were in there. And what are the chances? I mean, the guy just said he's in the store all the time. So, yeah, you were definitely in there.
Got to be there. You got to. I mean, I have a good manager. I have a store manager who's been with me 30 years. I mean, so I have good staff, but does not replace an owner. Doesn't.
And how long ago did you take over?
I took over in 1998. So 20 full-time. My father passed away in 98. So that's when I'd say I took over. I worked there full-time, long time before that. But in 98 is when I became the owner of it.
So is it always in the same location?
It was from 1964 to like 1969, I believe. It was closer to Route 81 and my grandparents' farm. And they had the barn. My father said, hey, Mom and Dad, can I, sell some used sofas out of the back? And they said, sure. Nice. But he didn't know how it would take over, and that's when he eventually bought it was a little railroad depot where I am now. And he kept putting little additions on, and he built Bobby's building that he rents from us now.
Nice.
Be cool and look cool this summer when you get your glass tinted by Shaggy. Tell him Chuck sent you for a 10% discount.
There's also the maple stuff.
Yes, so that's Massie Ranch. So Massie Ranch, I started in 2009. I bought some land. So I bought a couple 100 acres of land, and I built my home. And so, little backstory to it. I grew up where Red Lobster is. That was where I grew up. My father had a home there, and he had 150 acres. So we own pretty much all that where Walmart is, and behind there, and Route 202, that whole corner, we own it. And there's maple trees back there. They cut down a lot of them, which may be so sad, but he had a little sugar bush back there, and he made maple syrup. Not to this scale. He tapped like a couple hundred trees. But I remember as a kid going back there. I didn't really help him make the maple syrup, but I do remember going back there and seeing him boil. I was little. I was probably 8 or 9, and I remember it. So when I bought this land and I built my home, a buddy and I said, geez, there's some maple trees on the property. I go, let's get a turkey fryer and we'll tap 25 trees. Let's make a little syrup.
Yeah.
Tap 25 trees. We boiled on turkey fryers. Following year, I'm like, let's tap 100. Maybe we'll get a little flat pan, build it out of bricks in a flat pan. We'll do a little bit. Okay, sounds good. Well, that kept continuing. And then the following year is 300 trees and then 500 trees. And let's build a little sugar shanty. Well, let's buy an evaporator. And then so I got to the point where I'm still small in the big scheme of things, but I tapped 1,500 trees. 40 acres of maples I tap, all on tubing. I actually suck it out of the trees.
What?
Do you know about maple syrup?
I honestly do not.
I was going to say, from the south.
This is a whole new thing. So I was kind of hoping we'd get a little education.
Okay, I'll break it down a little bit for you. A lot of locals up here kind of know some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I want to teach you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So what comes out of the tree is sap. Have you seen what sap looks like?
I know what sap looks like.
Not pine sap. This looks just like water.
All I know is pine sap.
Okay, so it's thick and sticky like maple syrup.
Yep.
Well, the sap I'm gathering, I drill a hole in the tree, and it drips out, and it drips out like water. Looks just like water. It tastes like water. It's 98% water out of the tree, 2% sugar. So what I do is I gather thousands of gallons of it. So in a good day, a tree might give me 2 gallons, 3 gallons of sap. Well, if you got 1,500 trees all doing that, so all of a sudden you have 3,000 gallons of sap. So I'll haul that 3,000 gallons of sap back to my sugar shanty. That's what I call the building I make the syrup in. And I have these big evaporators, big pans, and I put all the sap in the pans. I keep boiling it, adding more sap. Keep boiling it, adding more sap until it boils down to 219 degrees. Once it hits 219 degrees, it's officially maple syrup. Yeah. But it's 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. It's 40 to 1. So when I came out of the woods with that 3,000 gallons of sap, I spent all day boiling, and I'll make 50 gallons of syrup. The rest of it just went up in steam.
Dang.
Yeah, so it's pretty unique. It's pretty unique for, the northern area to make syrup.
Really
It's fun to watch. Wherever anybody lives out there, yourself included, next spring, because we only do it in the springtime, the first warm day to the day the trees bud, about 6 weeks we make maple syrup for. Then we're done for the following year. Wow. But you should get out in the country and see us making it.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. That'd be neat to say, because, you've heard about it.
Yeah, we've done very well. I'm not to my horn. I'm a pretty good marketer. So I market Massie Ranch really, really well. And I grow pumpkins out there. I have hay. I put up about 5,000 bales of hay a year on the ranch for horse farms around here. Then I do maple syrup. So the whole ranch itself has really became a business in its own and a whole brand in itself. We're carried Hannaford, started carrying my product now, so it's in Hannaford.
Holy moly.
It really is a unique product, and we make. So she have maple syrup, but we make maple candies, those little maple leaf candies. They look like maple leaf.
Yeah.
Ever seen them? We make those in-house. There's a product called maple cream that's pure maple syrup. We heat it up hotter than 219. We put it in this machine that spins, and it turns it in the consistency of peanut butter. So it's maple syrup that looks like peanut butter. Put it on an English muffin, toasted English muffin.
Yeah. Dude, I'm going to say this again. As busy as you are, I appreciate this even more now. The more that you start talking. Yeah.
So maple cream, and then I also bought something kind of neat from the South, bourbon. And, that's called bourbon barrel maple syrup.
Yeah.
Pretty unique stuff. So I'll buy a freshly dumped bourbon barrel from a distillery, and I'll take my maple syrup and I'll put it in that barrel and let it age for a year. For some reason, maple syrup and bourbon flavors go together. I don't even like bourbon. But bourbon maple syrup, if you've never had it, you'll taste it and say, why does that maple syrup taste so good? It picks up the char from the barrel and the essence of the barrel, and there's no alcohol in it, so it's safe. Kids can drink it. You can drive home. You don't have to worry about anything. But that's a pretty neat product that we make out there to the ranch.
Holy moly, dude. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go home and make some pancakes.
Yeah, right. You want breakfast right now, right?
Yeah. Like, oh my god.
Well, maple syrup's a lot of work. You can't do my ranch wouldn't run without my friends and family. I have some buddies that help me. My in-laws. It takes a lot of people to make maple syrup. All the hauling of the sap out of the woods, and it's a lot of work. You gotta love it. You don't. It's not profitable. I'm not making money out of the ranch. It's my hobby. It's what I do. Some people have a race car. Some people have, this or that. I have a farm.
People got a podcast.
Some people have a podcast. Exactly. Yeah. And you strive for the business to thrive.
Right.
But, at this point, my wife, every year I'm like, okay, we need to buy this piece of equipment. We need to buy this for the ranch. She's like, okay. Because there's no end to it. Same with this. I'm sure the better microphones, better,
Oh, yeah.
There's no end to, what you can do. But, I just feel that, it's what I enjoy doing. Now the day I don't feel like doing it anymore, if my kids don't want to do it, then that's when I sell it. I say, okay, well, I won't do it.
So be cool and look cool this summer when you get your glass tinted by Shaggy. Tell him Chuck sent you for a 10% discount.
I don't know about it, but I heard that you also just opened up another spot. An ice cream thing.
Yes.
Is that true?
So, about a month ago, I bought the ice cream stand in Sackett's.
Really?
So it's right in downtown Sackett's, right across from Goodfellows. I don't know if you've been down to Sackett's, Goodfellows Restaurant, Tin Pan.
Yep.
Right across the street, there's a little bitty building there. It's a cute little building, and it's a little ice cream stand. So I purchased that. My daughter's graduated college. She's taking some state boards, and she'll be doing something else fairly soon. But right now, she's helped me run that. She worked there in high school and early college, so she knows about the ice cream business.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting. I enjoy exploring businesses and learning businesses. I've worked it. I've made maples, milkshakes, flurries. I've done it myself. I worked it all by myself one day because if I own something, I want to know about it. I want to know how it works. My wife's the same way. My wife's working there right now, believe it or not, in Sackett. She's down there working right now.
Nice.
We
like daughter's got 2 connections so far that I figured. She's got the outdoor furniture spot.
Yes.
And the ice cream thing.
Yeah.
Getting locked down. I see that. Dude, so you've gone furniture and anything else you got coming up? You cooking?
I don't know. I'm a U-Haul dealer. I do some commercial real estate. I do some of that. I do some residential real estate. I own a few duplexes, so I have some real estate on the side that I do. I've owned them for a long time. I enjoy that too. I've flipped a few houses. I've done a little bit of everything. I hustled. That's what you got to do nowadays.
Yeah.
Hey, when I was younger, my first house was a duplex. I bought a duplex. I lived downstairs, and I had 10 upstairs to pay my mortgage. I still own that. I own that duplex to today.
Wow.
This day.
Dude.
And, things like that I did when we were young really made a difference as I got older and, just trying to plant the seed, not rent and, try to, do the right thing. And it just financially was, I guess my father instilled in me. I don't know. For some reason, it just worked for me. That business thing, he taught it to me. I don't know if I was born with it or I was taught, but that entrepreneur thing, it just works. Even with ice cream, I'm marketing it. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to pitch the ice cream stand. We've painted it. We're going to do some landscaping. And I'm like, and every business has a different budget. With Massey's Furniture Barn, I have a fairly substantial budget for advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Ice cream stand doesn't have that type of revenue. So now I got to get real creative. I got okay, how can I get my name out there without spending a ton of money? You're probably with this somewhat, trying to get the name out there, but you don't have, you can't spend $10,000 a month on TV or radio ads. You got to think, how can I do it? And that's fun for me. I love thinking that way.
And the fact that you've got the whole social media thing down, you're getting it down pretty good. You're on TikTok, and a matter of fact, I think that's how we got.
Yes, it was. Yes, exactly.
And you know what else? The first guy I did the show with was Joe Fay, the guy driving the Tesla truck, and that's how I got a hold of him too. Straight, I don't even know how to operate TikTok too good.
Right. And I'm trying to post on it. It's a strange platform. That TikTok is strange. And I'm still trying to figure out my way through that, what people react to and what they don't. Everything's, the ones that do kind of go somewhat viral for my little world are ones they were not that good video.
I think I make a good one, and then I get 72 views on it.
I know.
It's crazy. I'm really trying to figure that out. But this guy, he's got it down. He's got 3.5 million followers.
I got to see that. I want to see that. I didn't know he was your first guy. I'm interested.
It's going to be on pretty quick. I actually turned everything in today. It'll be
great. He's a great customer of the store. He buys furniture from me.
Yeah, he's
a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. He's man, we text now. It's pretty cool.
That's good.
Be cool and look cool this summer when you get your glass tinted by Shaggy. Tell him Chuck sent you for a 10% discount.
And, and with social media, it's so important for the business now to be involved in social media. And number two, and this is kind of a, I'm sure not just only, I talk a lot of business, but that's what I know.
Yeah.
Is, being involved with the community. Paris taught me better than anybody is, give to local, DPAO, ARC, hospice. Get involved with the community. Give back a little bit if you can. I mean, obviously, when you're starting out a business, you can't. But I have, I give back a lot.
I was going to bring that up for you. I have seen you do quite a few charity things.
Yeah, I mean, I just did a milk fundraising, and we donated $10,000 to the food banks around there for milk. I try to think of things that and I personally gave $4,000 of that 10 myself. Is you got to give back the community. I hear Billy say it, I hear Charlie say it. The community is what gave me what I have.
Mm-hmm.
So the least you can do is, if you're successful, is give what you can, or you don't even have to give money. Just get involved and volunteer and stuff like that. I think it really does pay dividends. The community appreciates it.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff is rubbing off on me. Like, I'm doing things. I mean, I ain't got a whole lot of money. You know what I mean?
It's time.
I'm getting out there doing. I did the polar bear dip. That was fun.
That's awesome.
I did the hospice thing, radiothon. I think last year. I did the Battle of Badges.
Yep.
I mean, I did stuff to help draw in the community.
For one, you meet more people, shake a lot of hands. Number two, you're helping a good cause. You pick your causes that you really enjoy,
mm-hmm.
and it'll pay dividends back. Because, like I said, the growth of my main business, the furniture barn, over the last, 15 years, it's been, 5-10-fold. I wish my father was alive to see, the type of volume I do now. Just because of what he taught me. I'm not saying, he did anything wrong. It's just he taught me too well,
Yeah.
He
lit a fuse.
He lit a fuse, and boy, I know he's looking down.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah, dude, I'm highly impressed. And dude, the way that you run things and you're constantly evolving into different situations. I mean, I put it like this. You are an entrepreneur that entrepreneurs look up to. I mean, you're doing like things you want to do at this point,
Yep.
And we see it, and it's pretty awesome. I like the way you're able to take one main business and then create other passionate businesses and make them successful. That's pretty. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. It's something I enjoy doing. If you can't do, if it's a job, then don't do it or find something else. You got to enjoy it. I'm sure you enjoy doing this, right?
Oh yeah. I think they call that the American dream or something.
Right.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Not a problem. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I hope I gave you a little information about me, and who knows what's next for me. I'm sure there'll be something else that come down my way. And
I super appreciate you coming in here.
And hopefully, I know you got good things coming. So this is great. I thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all watching, man. Shawn Massey's a cool dude. If you want to watch the episode again, it's going to be on the What's Happening with Carolina Chuck YouTube channel. And you can catch us anytime on the podcast. I actually put the episodes on there ahead of time. You get the full interview. The Carolina Chuck podcast. And catch me anytime on Facebook. Y'all be good. Peace out.